Yeah, hello, it's Storytelling Ron, and we are the Holy Dice Rollers, and this is even though I've got the overlay for, oh yes, this is, I guess, I'm doing a, what do you call it, sneak preview of the Apocalypse setting for the Lord RPG. The Apocalypse setting, am I going to call it Saints of the Wasteland? Saints of the Wasteland! I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. But I'm going to talk, and this is in the show that we're doing, but I wanted to talk to EB and Tyler about you guys. Have you ever done a role-playing game before?
Never.
I did like a month ago with you. With you,
before
Ron.
Before this craziness, have you ever done a role-playing game?
I'm trying to think. I think maybe
You're not that old, Tyler.
I think I was in Boy Scouts, and I think I've like jumped in on like turns with like people doing it, but it was never like official. Like it was just all made up improv, everything.
Okay. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I mean, we rolled dice, so.
All right. So yeah. So what? I just want to set up our premise. Like, what was before we even started? What was your thinking when I kind of recruited you or found you or connected with you?
There's still kind of a stigma, I think, about role-playing games. And it goes back to all of those myths from probably the 80s. Was it the 80s when things were a little crazy? But like when somebody hears Dungeons and Dragons, they're like, no, that's so evil. And so if you don't know any better, you just kind of go with that and like, no. So, of course, that was in the back of my head. But talking to you and hearing about your vision for the game, I was like,
I had a vision?
Everything. Some type of vision in the recesses of your mind, you had a vision. And so, it's like, yes, so many people love to, get into character. And we know that Christian or not, people love these fantastic stories about adventures and challenges. And so to become a part of it with really all that you're risking is your pride, probably, that's
sanity.
That's for fun. Partial sanity. Yes. It sounded like something that I wanted to at least try out. So we've had several rounds here, and I'm still having fun.
Yeah, good. Tyler, what was your impression before we actually started rolling?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know tons about it. The only thing I knew was I just heard stories of games taking like up to like a year, or like people would just play games forever. And so like I remember hearing about that. And I thought that was like kind of cool, but I'm like, I can't commit to something like that. But then I don't know when I just didn't know. I was like, I don't know. But then, I think it's cool how you can just kind of jump in and out if you're able to make it, as long as the GM is able to make something work. And you did a pretty good job of that. So I like doing that. And I do kind of like the just dabbling into acting and stuff a little bit. I like the improv aspect, just being able to kind of make up part of the story yourself too, even though the GM's kind of guiding it. It's good imagination stuff. And it's not like maybe it is for you, but it doesn't seem like it's like super expensive to like get into it. Like maybe it is as a GM, I don't know, but like you created all these assets and everything, and it probably took a lot of time, but it doesn't seem like it's something super expensive. Like there's not like a high barrier to entry. So
right, yeah, you don't need a lot to do it, and there's so much free stuff out there now that you could get everything from maps to tokens to, if you even wanted to use those, because you could just use theater of the mind too, where you just talk and describe and doodle and scribble, where people are and whatever. So yeah, you could literally do it for free if you wanted to. It's that now it's ingrained in culture now from the 80s to now. It's definitely like it's here to stay. It's not a fad, it's definitely so widespread now. And I'm just I'm now going to the Christian side of this. I'm just bummed that the churches and the culture is not what is the word? Capturing this part of the culture and and utilizing it's for our own purposes.
I think sometimes the church as in the institutions, we're hesitant to adopt anything new because we think, well, this is the way we've always done it. And this is working, so let's do it. But I really feel like with COVID and people not being in the church as an institution, the churches across the country and world, it caused people to have a little bit of a reset, because I'm seeing a lot of people that are not going back to church now that they're reopened. There has been sort of a falling away. So that makes me question, is what we're doing working as evangelists, as ministers, as people who live the gospel through our lives? Is it working? Because I'm starting to think no. So then what does that mean? It means we need to do something different. And what did Jesus do? He met people where they were, right? He went to where they were. He met them with their needs. So we have to be willing to kind of get out of our comfort zone of just, this is what church is and this is what the church does, and have a little imagination. I mean, I do think about writers and storytellers like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and all of their imagination, their imaginary worlds. Like, they brought the gospel to life in such a creative way that it will get the attention of people, that something like, here, let me show you this, evangelist preaching message, that would make people run away from, yet they're running to it. So I feel like this is kind of along those lines, in that vein of, it's something different, it's something creative, it's something that might get the attention of somebody that wouldn't necessarily be willing to give the gospel a chance. So that's what I'm thinking.
Wow. That's a lot. I didn't know you were thinking that much.
Just a little nugget. Just a little something. I mean, off the top of my head, I haven't thought about it or anything, but.
That's professor in you. That's the doc.
I do think there's a struggle, though. I think there's a struggle right now for people to internalize the gospel, and something is just not, I feel like it's not working. We're missing people who have such great needs. So let's do something a little different. And it doesn't have to be scary or boring or even that hard. It can just be something like this. This could be another avenue to relate to people.
I think that's what I was thinking too, actually. Ditto. Yeah, on all that.
On everything.
Yeah. So the role-playing games is fellowship. It's socializing. It's getting together, breaking bread. It's all that, and we're missing out on that opportunity. And I realized too, when Dungeons and Dragons went woke, very woke, and they're pushing the gender fluidity and the LGBTQ thing, that I was like, okay, that's not what I'm signed up for. Is not what I grew up with in Dungeons and Dragons. It's not the original intent of Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons was originally just good versus evil, having fun, getting treasure, beating demons and devils and all that. And you were supposed to be good, generally speaking, And if you were evil, you tended to play like fun and unless you're a jerk. But now it's become an agenda, and it's just like everything else: Disney, Marvel, Hollywood, public schools, doctors, I guess now are agenda driven. So I wanted to create a role-playing game that wasn't aligning with Dungeons and Dragons, or wasn't aligning with all the other sort of pagan and role-playing things out there where you can many gods and doing magic and all. I wanted to create a Christian where you played an actual Christian and you could actually answer as a Christian. You could answer with the gospel. You still had the same adventures, the same, potential for violence, potential for being attacked, but potential for you getting to raise your sword and feel like a hero, but also
be eaten by a termite or just whatever.
Giant termite, yeah, and which is what this is here. But then you could say for the Lord in the game and feel it and have fun and interact with other people. And I didn't want to do it where you had to fit your Christianity into just an ethical fit into the fantasy tropes. I want to, like, I'll be morally Christian, but I'm not going to say anything about Jesus or God or anything in it. I'm just going to be a Christian in that game, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted you to be an actual Christian, saying stuff. And and then getting I had a girl play, and she did a prayer, and that was just the most awesome thing. Like it was like 20, 30 seconds. She was playing the nun and said, I want to go on our journey and bless us all. And so that was just fun to have someone do that, as opposed to just, her doing, say, Jesus loves me. This I know, this felt a little more her figuring it out and going through that process of doing a prayer. So, yeah.
That's good stuff.
So, Tyler, so what do you think of it now? What do you think of role-playing games now that you've gone through a few things here? Or this role-playing game, but you haven't played any of the other ones, obviously.
I like how you like have kind of like stuff hidden on the map, like for us to discover. Like it's not just like all out there. It just kind of like unfolds as we go about it. I like doing that. And I kind of like that stuff that we don't, and then we just kind of fall into these traps. Sometimes you accidentally give it away, and then we retract what we were gonna do. But yeah, no, I like that, and I like the whole aspect of
exploration,
just like that, but also just like you're a whole Christian. It's the good and the bad, and because we all make mistakes as Christians, and we do stuff wrong. Sometimes we're not perfect, and it's not all just like peaches and rainbows Christians where it's just like all happy and stuff like this. Just like you could die in the game and you could just do dumb stuff in the game, and you have to go to battle sometimes in the game. So yeah, I just like that whole aspect of it being like the whole person, I guess.
Well, like both of you went into that encounter where the slaves were being, on the stockade were being sacrificed, the sons to the horned ones, were given up as slavery. And I, just have you ever had a game or, as a Christian say, what do you do? You see this going on in front of you. What do you do? So both of you had this experience where you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And, in this game. So
good story.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to dig deep into it, you can think like that. There's an allegory there for addiction or whatever else has enslaved somebody. And so we are out there looking for all of these answers. But as a Christian, one of probably the safest feelings I have in the world is knowing I know the solution. Now, how to make it work, it might be different, but the answer is always Jesus, right? It's always Jesus. So now, but how am I going to get that out to somebody who needs it? So I think it kind of opens our evangelistic, to use that word again, mind on, well, how can I present this to this group of people versus this group of people versus this situation in a really, kind of maybe far out there kind of way. But isn't that what we do as Christians? We are trying to present in different ways, and we're going to do that just authentically with the people we come in contact with. We may have to be creative about it sometimes, but not everybody's going to accept things the same exact way. So that's why we have to say, I've got to unpackage this and repackage it, the same truth, just in a little different way.
Yeah. Like, the villagers, the response was, well, what's wrong with slavery, or what's wrong with, us sacrificing our sons? It'll protect us. So what's wrong with us giving up our sons? And so that's the whole concept of, we give to the gods for something in return. What's wrong with that? And that's kind of the basic premise that I'm going to use throughout, whatever mission or game or thing that you guys come into play. And you guys have to just work, figure it out how to respond to that. Right. I don't even know. I just like, that's what I'm going to put you up against, that you have to play that out. And it's fun. It's like, hopefully you'll do the some good, whatever, expository preaching or whatever, but hopefully there'll be some fun adventure and silly stuff too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Tyler, what did you think what was your first impression when you came, we role played that's, and you guys were coming into the village with the slaves the sons on the.
I mean, I was the big fighter guy, so I wanted to run in and fight. So
Freedom.
that was my first thing. Yeah, was that.
So you weren't thinking of how am I going to answer or respond to the people or anything?
No, not in that case, but just because of my character. But like when I thought about it in like reality as Tyler, I was like, yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that's sad. Like these are like young boys getting like sold into slavery. But I mean, this stuff, it could be allegorical, but the stuff is real too. Yeah. Like it happens in places around the world. Yeah. So yeah, even now, and even in modernized countries, I mean, there's forms of slavery. They don't necessarily call it that anymore, but there's stuff happens here in the States. So yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. So it's turning out that it's going to get easier and easier to find the allegories to make for each of the villains or plots for any of these settings in the Dark Ages, the apocalyptic one and the sci-fi one. So it's the same over and over, like, what is it? You guys can give me the verse, in Ecclesiastics, when Solomon says that light, it's the same over and over, life. Or
nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, they're the one. That's it.
And it is. I mean, like we're living the same like battles and stressors that people lived when Christ was here. It's just in a different way. Like I'm probably going to be stressed out with my computer, but somebody else might be stressed out with their donkey back in the day, right? So like my tool is failing me here. But people are people, and I think we are always doing that fight between the Lord and Satan, and it just manifests different ways, but it all is just, we're on repeat. I think so. We just have to keep the fight.
Yeah. And I wanted this game to be something that, you could relax, you need a day off. But at the same time, do something silly, but then still kind of, have some fellowship and edification in it as well, as opposed to relaxing and then doing a pagan game that just teaches you the pagan stuff or the but I do want it to be fun. I don't want it to be too much preaching or sermons or anything. I don't want that to happen. I just want it to be that surface level Christianity where you're just having fun, responding to people, and then going on little adventures and planting churches, But you're not the clergy that goes into the church and then does a sermon every Sabbath. You're you're the one getting to go venture forth in the games.
Yes. I think people would gravitate toward this in the same way they might something like a book club or a bowling league. It is a lot for the camaraderie and, like you said, the fellowship, because you get to go on these adventures together and learn about the people. And then you get to sort of choose your own adventure in a way. Those books were big when I was growing up, like the choose your own adventure books. I don't know where they went, but and that's kind of what this is, but just, a little more advanced level of this. And I think people like it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? We done?
I guess one thing maybe it was the people you picked, but just was a cool, diverse group of people in age as well. It was like a lot of different ages that have been playing, and just people from everywhere, all over the country. And I thought that was cool.
I searched out Christian actors. That's what I was doing because I wanted to, like I mentioned in other videos, I wanted to see if I could do it. One, if I could actually get Christian actors to do it, and I wanted it to be something that is more, I don't know if it's appealing or more approachable than just having players and we all just hardcore and do tough rules and we all argue over the rules. I wanted a performance and entertainment and lighter and everyone, a good pacing. Because when I play with regular players, even online, we're kind of just moping and doping and having a good time, just being silly. But I want it to be more of a performance and something that's felt like we're being entertained by it as well. So that's why I sought out Christian actors, not role players. And I really loved it. I really loved the experience because I learned to be a better GM as well, like through it, and still am learning. But it made me, try to raise what I was doing or am doing. So
I do like that we have to try to look at the traits and the characteristics that we have, or we've developed, or we've increased, or whatever, and make those work.
Play through those.
Yeah, because that's what really happens, right? We have only a set skill, a skill set, and then we go with it and we say, God bless, and hope he does, and, move forward. He will never, use me for culinary purposes. I don't think I bless anyone with my food. I bless them by not cooking, but, it's kind of the way it is, I think, as a Christian. And we look at what has God given you that you can do well, that you have a passion for, go do it. And so we're kind of looking at these traits and saying, okay, how can I use my flamethrower, which is always important to me to use it. It doesn't matter for what reason. It just must be used constantly.
As long as you swathe it around.
Yeah. Like 100%. Mosquito.
Giant vultures. Yeah. I was going to say something when you said that. Oh, man. Then you threw me off with a flamethrower. I forgot what it was. Anyone else?
Yeah, man. I also like how you can just pick up where you left off. And whether you can make it or not, there's a way to just fit people in so that they don't have to be like super, super committed. Like you got to be here every single week for the whole year.
That's what bums me out the most about Christian actors. Or actors. Oh,
well, yeah. You're not going to get us to commit unless you're throwing down
I know
100,000 a week. I'm just kidding.
I know it's not in your DNA. It's like for gammers, we grew up. It's in our DNA to show up every week. We're there, man.
Ours is like because we have something different every week, different projects, different everything. At least for me. So it's really not in my DNA to do something regularly.
But I have the scars now from all this too.
But yeah, I like doing. I mean. Yeah, I just like to be able to just show up and honestly, even after the initial marathon I didn't know if I was going to keep doing it, but I've liked our group that we've had doing these and I've side note, I purposely wear the same shirt every time, so your viewers probably just think I only have one shirt.
Purposely wear the same shirt every time.
Literally
I didn't notice.
Every one we've done, I've worn this light blue shirt. Goes
you
with
haven't
the
watched
background
it
a little bit. I have watched it. It's been multiple months it's spanned, but but yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just one of those things where you can just show up. I mean, obviously I don't have to do this, but with the shirt thing, I mean.
We're gonna set up a GoFundMe page for you.
I mean, I have other shirts. I'm looking at them right now. I'm looking at them right now.
GoFundMe.com/Tyler
T-shirt. Yeah.
Tyler
Tees.
T-shirt.
T-shirts for Ty.
T-shirts for Ty. Ty's tees.
Yeah, it's getting you guys. It's been rough, especially the worst is getting everyone says yes, and then on the day of or within a few hours, drop. I'm like, no, because it's just draining for me.
Yeah. That's hard, and that's I think more. Yeah, I don't want to say that's all actors, but yeah, it does happen sometimes. I mean, especially when people are kind of improv-y with their life, really. They just do whatever.
I can't blame you. So I am looking to as I've told you all before, I'm looking to try to get this figured out in as a funding thing or to pay you guys so that. And I love the marathon. I thought that was fun to have just 2 full days or whatever, or 1 day or whatever. But the 2 full days we did with Tyler and the other 3 was fun and intense.
You got momentum going, right?
Let's get in there.
Groove.
It's a consistency, and everyone knows what's going on from each hour that we do it. We take a couple minutes break in between, and then a lunch break. But then everyone shows up, and we started going again. And it's to try to make it like a show. That's consistent.
Yep.
Well, fortunately, if you can get 3 out of 4 of us, then the fourth one can just be concussed, and we just leave them in the van and carry on. So that's nice.
Yeah, I got to come up with a bunch of maladies and conditions that keep someone out for each show. They don't
amnesia and you're lost and you can't find your group. Oh, they're missing again. Woo.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good though. I still enjoy it.
What's your, other than the cancellation last minute, what's your least favorite thing about working with actors? You can be honest.
Well,
oh no,
all of the above, but other than that, I think, well, I don't know, just off the top of my head, and it's been pretty good though, is if someone does like goes on and on and on, like that kind of thing, not to name any names, but that's gotten better, it's something I learned too, because when I play with regular players, we just go on and on and on. We don't think about it. But then I realized when I watched other people do live plays, I realized, oh, this is terrible. And then the shows that I kind of gravitated towards, I was watching them trying to figure out, oh, I see they're not going on and on and on. I can tell they know, I can tell they've discussed this because they're polite to each other. I can tell, I can tell they're doing that purposely. So that was one of my things that I said, oh, I got to tell everyone to brevity,
Yeah. I think that's good, especially with the short attention spans people have these days. So, but yeah, I think it would be interesting watching from because I've only played these. I've never watched, so I'm not sure how it differs in that way.
Well, I'm uploading them now on my YouTube channel, and then on my website, okay. I'm organizing the shows so you can kind of see them. So the first series with EB and the others, you can watch and see how they did. But but think about a movie or a TV show. I mean, it's the pacing is very quick and precise, right?
Sure.
For the good, the shows that are good. So that's what I'm trying to do here as well. Is like, say your point,
narrow it down a little bit. Yep.
Don't repeat. Let someone else.
That's a good way to do it for sure. Because I can't tell from playing. I can't really tell how it will feel like watching, and at least boring. The one I was in, is it? It's boring.
If someone keeps going on and on and on about something,
yeah, that'll be a good thing to figure out with marketing and stuff with your Kickstarter, if that's your plan, just to get the good clips and stuff and rope people in. I'm just kidding, but just
I'm running one right now. Running the basic. It's a Zine here. Oh, show you real quick. They're like little stable bound.
Oh, that's cool.
This is the game. And you guys, by the way, right now you can go to, you guys, I would have sent it to you, but you can go to my website and download this for free, the PDF, so you could look through the rules or whatever.
Nice.
On February, they have something called Zine Quest, which is, this type of booklet that is on the Zine Quest for February for Kickstarter. And so I'm just trying to do that. And, and also I'm just trying to do it as a free promo for the game and letting people know that it exists.
That's cool.
And then the shows and then of course I'm going to the NRB in May, and after and if I can, I'm hoping that maybe if I could sell some shows there to some Christian streaming services. But if I can, or if that's it, no, I get no responses, then I'm done. I'm just going. I'm going to still do this, but I'm just going to go just mellow out, amateur it out.
Sure. I guess I'm just
see this as something that youth groups could do. Like take a month out and say, okay, the month of April, we're RPG. So every Wednesday night for, we're going to make sure we wrap this up in 4 weeks, this campaign or whatever, or have an 8-week one, but we'll do the next one in June or whatever. And I think kids they would come do a little devotional before, and then I think they love it.
My church though, it's funny. I'm in a mega church, and I've talked to a few people and and I've had positive responses, but I'm not really engaged with, say, the pastors and the elders there. I'm just on the periphery doing, I did some homeschool stuff. So at the homeschool, I helped out, but I basically ended up being the chair and table guy, because I was consistent. I showed up, so that's what they needed. So instead of me engaging the kids or doing anything. I ended up being, the janitor in the back, so but whatever. It's what it is, what it is.
God's gifts. He uses this all.
Yeah.
I was the muscle, but
hey, it's thankless work. I was doing that type of work for a little bit too. So, yeah.
So
it's cool.
But yeah, I can't, I don't know who to, in my church, it's funny. I don't know who to jump on for this. And I just don't know anyone. I don't know anyone directly that does D&D or RPGs there. Even.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think it's hard. It's a hard balance because most of the people that I know that do them are, they're not Christians or they're quite secular with the groups and stuff. So it's just different. It's kind of like a blend of two different cultures and it's rare probably, I would say, to find someone like you that's interested in it, doing it from a Christian perspective, but someone's got to start it. Yeah. Someone's got to start it. But yeah,
you guys can see it works, right? As a Christian game, it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think some people are like, oh no, we're not, that's the devil's stuff. We're not going to get into that. But in my mind, it's kind of like the way I approach Halloween. Like, let's say it is the devil's holiday, but I'm not going to let him have it. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Keep those handouts. Like,
well, yeah, I'm going to say when people say they don't like the Christmas tree or Easter bunny and all that, and because it's a pagan symbol, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I want to remind you of one pagan symbol that you seem to be used a lot, and it's a symbol of public humiliation and torture, where you're nailed to it and executed on it. And what did we do with that? What happened to that pagan symbol? We turned it into hope and joy and love and life. So I'm not afraid of these pagan symbols. We Christians can take your pagan symbol, and we will. And we will turn it family friendly. We will family friendly the heck out of it, and that's, to me, what we do. And I'm not afraid of that or whatever.
Exactly. So.
Except Drag Queen Hour. We're not going to family friendly that. Drag Queen Hour. We're not going to family friendly that. So. Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure if it's possible to family friendly that.
Well, it already is, and so, but it doesn't work. It doesn't.
Yeah, I suppose
we're gonna have to say nope on that. And now the show is canceled. So.
And now I'm canceled because I made a comment about it.
Now you're canceled.
We're all canceled. Everybody's canceled.
Gotta get ahead of the game. Just get canceled before they can cancel you.
Yeah, right. All right, thank you guys for telling me I don't know, I guess you somewhat told me your first impressions of this role-playing game. All right, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, jumping in and helping out, whenever you can, and I assume having fun, right?
Yeah.
Some fun. Yeah. All right, we'll sign off. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye.